Okay, there are a couple things we want to point out here when we're describing polynomials. First off, we want to write polynomials where it's all plus signs. That then tells us how many terms we have, and in this case we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. We also want to be able to understand that if we write it in descending order with the exponents, we have to call it with standard form. So standard form is when it's in descending order. The degree of the polynomial is the degree of the highest term, which in this case is 3. So what we can do with this is that we can put a polynomial in order, and we can then determine the degree as well as the leading coefficient. Okay, so to add polynomials, we're going to add the like terms. So we're looking for x cubed on the other side, and we have x cubed here. So we can add the -9 and the 13. So we get 4x cubed. Then if we look at the x squared, we look on the other side, we have an x squared, so it's 7 plus 2, which is plus 9x squared. Notice the letters do not change. All we're doing is, notice the letters aren't changing, is adding the numbers. So let's go to the next. We have a x, we're looking for x, so we have a -5 and a -8. That gives us a -13x. And then our final 3 and -6 gives us a -3. And so we now have our polynomial added up by just adding like terms. This is the answer. So if I write this problem, and I'm just going to write it out. I can line it up vertically with the like terms underneath and then add. By doing that, we'll get the same answer as we did before. He said sometimes it's a little easier visually to see. A good way of doing subtraction is to think of it as addition, but change everything that's being subtracted to its opposite sign. So if I go plus -4x squared plus 6x plus 7, and now I add, in this case I could add vertically, so I could go 7x squared and plus 3x minus 4, and add these up, I get my 3x squared plus 9x plus 3. The advice that I would say is that anything that's being subtracted, you change everything to its opposite sign, which is what I did here, and then I added vertically to get my answer.